What's up guys, welcome to the 17 Media channel, a channel that does different sorts of content. We do anime content, music content, we basically do everything, and I will be providing you guys the anime content for this channel. As you see from the title, I'll be listing you guys my top 10 adventure anime in no particular order. Before I actually start listing off the anime that I've chosen, I'd like to say that I only pick anime that I've seen, witnessed, or actually know a lot about instead of actually not knowing anything about it at all. Without further ado, my name is Jertri and let's start listing off the anime. The first anime I'll be listing will be JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. For those who haven't seen the first season or any of the seasons at all, I'd like to strongly recommend you to watch all of them and not just one, because once you watch one, you are going to watch everything all at once, trust me. Now, spoiler free and as best as I can, which isn't really that good, I'm gonna try explaining you JoJo. To save as much time as possible, I'd only like to explain the first season and kind of being vague really about all of it. Since again, I don't want to spoil the anime since it's that good of an anime that I want you guys to actually watch it instantly. Now, the first season doesn't really have as much adventure as the second or third season of JoJo. However, you still have to watch the first season to actually watch all of them because you have to watch everything. Don't skip JoJo parts. The first season tells the story of a character named Jonathan Joestar. One day, he gets an adoptive brother named Dio Brando, who moves in due to the fact that Jonathan's father has a debt to pay to Dio's father, and he repays that debt by raising Dio. Upon Dio's arrival, it is clearly shown that Dio is not a good person. The first impression that he shows is kicking a dog and showing disrespect to my man Jonathan. Later on in the story, Dio does something absolutely terrible, and Jonathan has no choice but to stop him, and that's where the adventure starts. Adventure is not the only category that JoJo actually has. And if you guys are still not convinced, JoJo is not only an adventure anime, it has comedy, action and drama and many other categories. I really suggest you watch it, and I can't carry on talking about JoJo, so I'm gonna go with the next anime, and that is Hunter x Hunter 2011, as that is the one I watched, and I highly suggest this anime as it's packed with fight scenes, adventure, you name it. The main character, known as Gon, sets out on an adventure to find his father. He doesn't know much about his father other than the fact that his father is known as a hunter, and Gon decides to follow in his father's steps in hope of finding him one day. However, becoming a hunter is not as easy as Gon thought it would be. Along his adventure, he makes many friends and enemies, and has to endure the test of becoming a hunter. Even though Hunter x Hunter has 148 episodes, each arc is worth watching. Watch every single minute of every single episode and you will not regret it. You have to trust me on this. You have to watch Hunter x Hunter 100%. The third anime I'll be listing is known as One Piece. Now, One Piece is the epitome of adventure anime. Its overwhelming episodes does kind of make people stretch away from watching it, but okay. Now, I know I've said this a lot, but you have to watch this anime because this anime is pure gold. In this current time that I'm recording this, One Piece has currently 170 episodes. Some people who watch One Piece actually skip the fillers, but I myself have not skipped the fillers because these fillers are still enjoyable to watch, and it kind of still feels like it's part of the anime, even though, like, when I was watching One Piece, I did not notice that I was watching filler because it was so immersive too. However, I'm not going to blame you if you skip the fillers because it does have a lot of episodes for someone who has not seen anything of One Piece. Other than being an adventure anime, One Piece is also a comedy anime, an action anime, a supernatural anime, and is currently one of the most popular manga in the world. The main character of One Piece is known as Monkey D. Luffy, who sets out on a journey to become the Pirate King. The world of One Piece has the pirates and the navy. Of course, the pirates being the bad guys and the navy being the good guys, but that's kind of debatable depending if you watch the anime or not, you know what I mean. I'd also like to mention that there are fruits known as devil fruits within the anime. A devil fruit is essentially a fruit that gives whoever eats the fruit a power. There is never more than one of a single devil fruit. However, if one's a devil fruit user, they will be incapable of going on water as it will instantly drown them due to the fact that they've eaten a devil fruit. In a way, that's kind of ironic as it is a story about pirates and the navy, but with that in mind, it does set out for a good adventure anime about a pirate setting out on a journey to find the treasure known as the One Piece. I would like to expand on One Piece, however, I have to go to my next pick, and that is going to be Dororo. Now, depending on when you're watching this video, Dororo is currently airing at this moment in time. I picked this anime because it has such a good foundation to be such a great adventure anime. And it's really fresh in my mind because I've been watching it every week. Dororo entails the story about a man who made a pact with a sort of devil or deity of some sorts. Now when I say pact, I mean more like a deal or like equivalent exchange. The man wished for more power in exchange for the body parts of his own son. From what I could tell from the first episode, I don't think that was his intention. However, he was not disappointed with the results that actually caused it. I'd also like to mention that his son was a newborn baby at the time, so he was just born. Like, the instant he was born, the pact was made. With everyone thinking the baby is going to die in a few minutes, one of the maids or caretakers decides to bring him outside to let him die peacefully. However, with the little life that the baby was showing, the woman decided to put the baby on a boat and set it out to sail. And that's where the story begins, because the baby actually survived. Now, as spoiler free as I can be, the baby grows up to be a teenager and can only move due to the fact that it has prosthetic arms, legs and a face. He seems to have learned how to fight, and he basically has kind of a power to sense things around him. One day, he defeated some sort of a monster of sorts or a demon, and upon defeating the demon, one part of his body actually returned to him. So the story becomes the quest of the main character, known as Hyakumaru, I believe that's how you pronounce his name, in his quest to defeat all the demons that have taken his body parts away. Upon defeating them, he gets his body back. The fight scenes and animation are absolutely fluid, and don't get me started on the opening because that shit is fucking fire. I don't need to say no more, up with the next anime. The next anime is going to be Kino no Tabi. Now I have to say that I kind of dropped this anime as I didn't have enough time to finish it at the time. And there was also an aspect I couldn't really get used to, however loads of people around me got used to it and actually enjoyed the anime overall. This anime is a story about the main character known as Kino, who sets out on a journey to fill the emptiness in her heart basically, as she finds the act of exploring a really beautiful thing. One thing that made me watch part of the anime is that she isn't afraid to protect herself, meaning that she would kill anyone if they get in her way. There are also many different places that are really well thought out. Like, there's I'm not gonna spoil this, but there's a certain location that moves on its own. Like, it just moves. It'll be so great to witness just a town moving right in front of you. Now, since some of you may be curious, the aspect that actually made me drop the anime is that Kino travels with a motorbike, and that motorbike can actually speak, and that kind of just pushed me far away from the anime because I find that really weird. Now, I watch weird anime, but a motorbike speaking? No. If the motorbike didn't speak, I would have finished the anime, I'm just saying. Now, the next anime I've chosen is going to be Ushio and Tora. Now, the way I'm going to explain this anime is going to seem kind of vague, as I can't really explain it into further detail. But the story is essentially about a main character known as Ushio. He is a simple middle schooler who is the son of a priest. Ushio's father also handles a temple, and they live right beside one. Whilst Ushio was doing his chores in the basement, he discovers a spear. The spear that he finds actually has a demon named Tora sealed within it. Ushio's father tells him repeatedly that there is the existence of yokai and they are really evil, and he should never mess with them if he ever sees one. With that in mind, Ushio decides to ignore Tora and actually leave the basement and the spear alone, as he doesn't want to get involved with anything bad since he's just a normal middle schooler, you know? However, a yokai outbreak sets out and Ushio has no choice but to make a pact with Tora. And that creates the journey of Ushio and Tora in the objective to defeat all the yokais remaining in the world. This video is a bit longer than I expected, but let's go to the next anime. Magi the Labyrinth of Magic. This anime tells a story about a perverted kid known as Aladdin and his adventure around the world. The world in which Aladdin lives in has the existence of magicians and djinns. They're like deities in a way. These deities can grant you any wish, however you must conquer a dungeon in order for your wish to come true. You must also be worthy of actually making the wish, which is why you have to conquer the dungeon. The story begins with Aladdin leaving his home with the company of his flute. His flute grants him the power of summoning a Daijin in order to fight, not in a way of granting a wish. It's only like for fighting purposes. Whilst he was on his journey, he meets a boy named Alibaba. Yeah, I know his name sounds kind of weird. Anyway, they become friends and they stumble upon a car and damage it. In order to repay what they've damaged, they actually attempt to go to a dungeon and conquer it. There's also this side note that Alibaba wants to become a king one day. And so their journey begins in conquering the dungeon. Our next anime is going to be Made in Abyss. Made in Abyss is a truly fantastic anime with an amazing animation. The deep and mysterious story is truly something you must watch. Now, if you've avoided spoilers from this anime, I truly applaud you. So for the sake of someone who has no recollection or no idea of what Made in Abyss is, I'm going to explain it in a way where you won't get spoiled at all. Made in Abyss is set in a world where there's a huge crater. It's filled with mysterious monsters, treasures, you name it. It's filled with... No one knows what the existence of the crater actually is. Now, it's not like everyone has access to actually go down this crater. There are those known as divers who only have access to going down. However, there are many different types of divers. There are divers who only have access to the upper levels of the crater, and there are those who have access to the lower levels of the crater. Our main character, known as Riko, only has access to the top as she is only a red whistle. Her mother, who is a white whistle, she has access to the lower levels of the crater. However, her mother went missing and no one knows where she actually is. One day, when Riko was adventuring on the upper levels of the crater, she discovers a robot of some sort on the floor. She wakes it up and it appears to be a fully functioning robot, although it does look like a human a lot and acts like a human and is essentially basically a human. She decides to bring this robot home and she names it Reg. They end up becoming really good friends and decide to actually go in the lower levels of the crater without permission. They go into this adventure with two objectives, one finding Riko's mother and the other discovering the lost memories of Reg. As when he was awoken, he had no recollection of his memories at all, or even knowing that he was a robot. And so their adventure begins, but little did they know that their adventure was going to be harder than they actually thought. Now with my 9th decision, Berserk. All I have to say for this is read the manga. Berserk tells the story of a young mercenary known as Guts. As a kid, Guts had to learn how to fight because that is the only way he could ever live in the world he lives in. If you don't like brutal anime, this anime is not for you. However, if you do like brutal anime, this anime is your bro. As Guts got older, he got even more stronger. And one day he got in a fight with an apparent strong person and he defeated him easily. After that, he got recruited by a leader known as Griffith. Griffith, I don't know how to pronounce his name. The world they live in is truly horrible and the events that occur are just truly breathtaking. I really haven't got that much to say about this, but yeah. Oh wait, no, I have something to say. Don't watch the 3D anime of it, please. Last but not least, Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood. Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood is an anime about alchemy. Our main characters, Edward Elric and Alphonse Elric, perform a forbidden act known as human transmutation. Their reason for doing so is to revive their dead mother. However, the act of alchemy is the act of equivalent exchange, so in order for something to be obtained, something of equal must be lost also. And so, when attempting to revive their mother, Edward ends up losing his left leg and Alphonse loses his entire body. In the failure of losing their mother and Alphonse's entire body, Edward decides to give his arm in order to get Alphonse's soul and put it into an armor. And by armor I mean a suit of armor, so he's like a knight but without a body. Not long after, Edward receives a prosthetic arm and leg so he can move again. And after that he becomes a state alchemist. As that will bring the brothers close to seeking out the existence of the Philosopher's Stone, which allows them to make an equivalent exchange with no boundaries. And that's pretty much the end of the video. Thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate if you're listening to me right now because this is the longest video I've ever made in my life. And I know if some of you may have noticed, but I did kind of rush or kind of seem different near the end of the video because I was really in a rush to make this video. Let me know if you have any suggestions of me changing the way I edit my videos, maybe the style or anything. Just let me know if I have any improvements to make, as this is my first video that I've made for this type of content. But yeah, I really appreciate you guys watching this video, and I hope to see you next week with our weekly uploads.